real haunting of Okiku's well-Japanese folk horror story that inspired the Ring movies. The samurai's obsession. Centuries ago, in the shadow of Himeji Castle in Japan, a young servant named Okiku worked tirelessly for a powerful samurai lord. Okiku was known for her beauty, grace, and unwavering loyalty to her duties. Among her many tasks, she was entrusted with guarding 10 golden plates, precious heirlooms of the samurai's family. These plates were not only symbols of wealth but also of honor, and any mistake in their care would be considered a grave offense. The samurai, however, was not content with Okiku's devotion to her work. He had become infatuated with her and desired her as his wife. Despite his wealth and status, Okiku rejected his advances. She valued her independence and refused to become the samurai's possession. Her rejection stung deeply, and the samurai's love twisted into something darker, an obsession that would seal both their fates. The trap. The samurai devised a cruel plan to force Okiku into submission. One evening, while she was cleaning the golden plates, he secretly took one and hid it. Later that night, he summoned Okiku to his chambers. "Okiku," he said with feigned concern, "one of the golden plates is missing. Do you know what this means? If you cannot find it, you will be accused of theft, a crime punishable by death." Okiku's heart sank as she rushed back to count the plates. 9. There were only 9. She searched frantically throughout the castle, but could not find the missing plate. Desperate and trembling with fear, she returned to the samurai. "I cannot find it," she whispered. The samurai smiled coldly. "There is one way to avoid punishment," he said. "Marry me, and I will forget this ever happened." Okiku stared at him in horror. She realized this was no accident, it was a trap. Her choices were grim. Marry a man she despised or face execution for a crime she didn't commit. The fall. That night, unable to bear the shame or the thought of being trapped in a loveless marriage, Okiku made her decision. As the moonlight bathed Himeji Castle in an eerie glow, she climbed to the edge of a deep well on the castle grounds, the same well where she had often drawn water for her duties. With tears streaming down her face, she whispered a prayer for justice and leaped into the darkness below. When the samurai learned of Okiku's death, he felt no remorse. Instead, he dismissed her as weak and unworthy of his affection. But his triumph was short-lived. The haunting begins. It started with whispers, soft and indistinct, echoing through the halls of Himeji Castle late at night. Servants reported hearing a woman's voice counting slowly. 1, 2, 3. The counting would continue until it reached 9, before being followed by a piercing wail of despair. At first, the samurai dismissed these reports as mere superstition, but soon he began hearing the voice himself. No matter where he went in the castle, he could not escape it. The counting grew louder each night until it seemed to echo inside his very mind. One night, as he lay in bed trying to ignore the relentless counting, he saw her. Okiku's ghost emerged from the well, her long black hair dripping with water and her pale face twisted in sorrow and rage. She wore a white funeral kimono stained with mud from the well's depths. Her hollow eyes locked onto his as she began counting again. 1, 2, 3. The samurai screamed for help, but no one came. Okiku disappeared as suddenly as she had appeared, leaving him trembling and drenched in cold sweat. The curse deepens. The haunting continued every night without fail. Servants abandoned their posts, unable to endure the ghostly wails that echoed through the castle walls. The samurai grew paranoid and withdrawn, his once proud demeanor reduced to that of a broken man. Desperate to rid himself of Okiku's spirit, he sought out priests and exorcists from across Japan. They performed rituals and chanted prayers around the well, but nothing worked. Okiku's ghost remained bound to Himeji Castle by her pain and betrayal. Her vengeance extended beyond the samurai. Anyone who dared approach the well risked encountering her wrath. Visitors reported seeing her ghostly figure rising from the depths or hearing her mournful counting late at night. The well sealed. Eventually, after years of torment, local priests decided to seal Okiku's well with iron bars in an attempt to contain her spirit. They hoped this would bring peace to both Okiku and those who lived near Himeji Castle. But even today, visitors claim they can hear faint whispers coming from the well if they listen closely enough. Whispers that begin with counting 1, 2, 3. Some say that Okiku still haunts Himeji Castle because justice was never served for her tragic death. Others believe she remains bound by her duty to protect the golden plates, a task she could never complete in life. A modern encounter. In recent years, tourists visiting Himeji Castle have reported strange occurrences near Okiku's well. Cameras malfunction when pointed at it. Some visitors feel an icy chill despite warm weather. Others claim they've seen a shadowy figure lurking near the well after dark. One visitor, a skeptic named Kenji, decided to test these stories during an evening tour of the castle. Armed with a flashlight and camera, he approached the well alone while his friends waited at a distance. As Kenji peered into its depths, he felt an inexplicable sense of dread wash over him. Suddenly, his flashlight flickered out, plunging him into darkness. Then he heard it. 1, 2, 3. Kenji froze as chills ran down his spine. The voice grew louder with each number until it reached 9. And then came a blood-curdling scream that echoed through the night. When Kenji's friends found him moments later, he was sitting on the ground trembling uncontrollably. He refused to speak about what he had seen or heard, but left Himeji Castle, vowing never to return. The legend lives on. To this day, Okiku's story remains one of Japan's most famous ghost tales, a chilling reminder of betrayal and vengeance that transcends time. Her spirit lingers at Himeji Castle, not as a warning, but as a testament to unresolved injustice. If you ever visit Himeji Castle and find yourself near Okiku's well after dark, listen carefully but be warned. If you hear counting followed by silence, you may be next. I hope you have got real chills listening to this Japanese folk story. If you enjoyed this video, then do subscribe to Horror Vault to keep watching our unique true horror stories. See you in the next video.